and also that really does challenge the concept of like, it brings it to a head. You know, I do, let's finish this because I think it's important. So this is one of those situations I'm trying to remember, right? I'm trying to remember this theory. And lo and behold, there it is. That's the paper.
Active learning increases student performance in science, engineering, and mathematics.
Yep. And then who's the first author there?
Scott Freeman.
Okay, so let me just read. So did you see how fast that was for me to find that? How long did that take? Yeah, that's why I like hard pieces of paper. So the results raise questions. Here's the main: to test the hypothesis that lecturing maximizes learning and course performance, we meta-analyzed 225 studies that reported data on examination scores or failure rates when comparing student performance in undergraduate STEM classes under traditional lecturing versus active learning. We did some statistical analysis, and results of this study announcing as a control in research studies and support active learning as the preferred empirically validated teaching practice in regular classrooms. In other words, lecture is scientifically validated as a very dumb way to teach. We should do active learning. And later in the, like, that's what the paper has control in future experience. In other words, what does the Hippocratic Oath say? First, do no harm. We have an analysis of 225 peer-reviewed research papers that show lecturing is actually doing harm to students, right? So if you now use lecture to do experiments on learning, that's the equivalent of a doctor knowing that a drug is going to hurt somebody and still administering the drug anyways, right? And this gets into the idea of a novice teacher. The reason that student people teach using lecture is not because they know it does harm. In fact, they are completely blind. They are willfully blind, not on purpose. They just, you know, and the reason why I say willfully is these are some of the smartest people in the world. These people know how to learn. How is it that they get paid to be professional educators and they can't read lecture notes on how learning works? Well, that's a system of incentives that's designed to maintain, to propagate a broken learning environment. But the point of this thing, you know, and there's tons of these like this. That's why I wanted to expose you guys super early in your traditional thing. You know, so the last thing, I'll shut up on this, but instead of using lecture as a control in experiments, it may be more productive to focus on what we call second generation research, using advances in educational psychology and cognitive science to inspire changes in course design, then testing hypotheses about which type of active learning is most appropriate and efficient for certain topics and student populations. Well, guess what this is designed to do for you?
Exactly that.
Our learning, like, yeah, you guys are getting, you're getting access to educational psychology and cognitive science. You know, I'm already on the second generation problem, and I have, you know, that talk that I gave is about 10 years into my research and development. So I have a particular hypothesis about the best answer for the type of active learning. And that has to do with both this realization, this is I would call a foundational realization, and then also understanding of motivational theory and how interest develops and all that stuff. So the talk actually is well beyond my published scholarship. So in order to understand that talk, there's probably like, I don't know, at least 5, but more like 10 papers that I should write contextualizing that. But my feeling is it's the development of those resources is much, much harder than the, that's more on that later. But part of the learning code is not only for the students that are going to benefit from that, we're leveraging cognitive science and psychology to teach them how to become professional learners. But for you two guys, one of the reasons that I say that you're going to be thought leaders is you guys are going to have, you will become knowledgeable, you'll become educated in that space as part of your education. So not only are you becoming content experts, and not only do you have that to offer, but you're double professionals. You actually understand the learning science and you understand how that relates. And so when you make pedagogical decisions, you do so from an informed